please do let us know in the chat where you're joining us from today. All right, New York City, I'll be there this weekend. Tampa, we have an office in St. Petersburg. UK, Charlotte, Denver, Love, Colorado, Munich, Norfolk, Alabama, California, Brazil, all right. Philippines, Singapore, Kansas. All right, welcome in everyone. Thank you for sharing. So before we start our program today, I'd like to briefly introduce you to our Livestorm webinar platform. In the top right corner, you'll find the chat for general communication. Next to the chat is the questions tab, where I encourage you to send all of your questions throughout the presentations. You can see the questions that other people have submitted, and you can upvote the ones you'd like to be answered live. So in the middle of the screen on the buttons panel, you can see the captions button. Feel free to enable captions if you need them, and you can choose the preferred language as well. We also have a live translation option available for you today. You can check that out through the captions. There'll also be the feedback form later. Please do share your thoughts on the transition and its accuracy. And after our product demo, we'll also have a live Q&A session. So if we don't get to your question during the webinar today, don't worry. We'll answer all unanswered questions in writing and post them to the webpage. You get the link in your email and the webinar recording as well. And lastly, I want to note that the webinar is being recorded and every registrant will receive a copy of the recording via email. All right, so let's kick things off. Hi, everyone again. Welcome to our Product Talk webinar. My name is Aurelio, Director of Customer Success at Pipedrive. I'm joined by my colleagues from our product and user experience teams. So for those who are new to Pipedrive, here's a quick overview. Pipedrive was founded in 2010 by 5 Estonians who were salespeople who wanted more from a CRM tool than the market could offer, right? So they decided to create their own. Pipedrive then reached unicorn status in 2020 and has over 800 employees across 10 offices in 8 countries, representing 50 nationalities. Most importantly, we support over 110,000 SMBs daily to reach their business goals with our easy and effective CRM solution. I will now turn it over to Joe Fuddy to go over today's agenda and our product strategy in 2026.
Thank you.
Joe, over to you.
Thank you. For those that I haven't met, I'm Joe Fuddy. I lead R&D at Pipedrive. So I've only joined Pipedrive about 7 months ago. So this is my first product talk, and I'm super excited to be here talking to you. My typical simple strategy is to focus on customer, product, and the team that builds it. So today is my happy day since we get to talk about all 3 things. I'm also excited to be delivering this session from our core engineering office in Tallinn, Estonia. But first, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being a Pipedrive customer. And thanks for showing up today, taking time from your busy schedule. You, on this call, are the reason my team gets up in the morning to do the work we do to make Pipedrive the most loved CRM in the world. So most of our time, we have heads down, talking to customers, sweating the details, shipping product. But once in a while, times like this, we get to step out from behind the roadmap and unveil to you what we've been building. So here's what to expect today. You're going to see significant improvements in 2 areas that have been core drivers of Pipedrive for many years, and that's projects and automations. And these aren't side bets for us. They're at the heart of how you run your business in Pipedrive every day. And what we're shipping is a real step change to what we had in both areas. You're also going to see a couple of brand new things today. Native integration with WhatsApp that brings your sales conversations to where your customers already are. And then something totally new and exciting, a product that we've been working on under the radar for a while, but I'll let Jennifer talk about that. But be ready to be amazed. And I want to be upfront about one thing. A huge amount of what we're doing exists because of you. The feedback you've given us, the emails you've written us, your support calls, Please keep doing that. So here's the agenda for today. So 4 stories from 4 members of the leadership team leading the product development. So first, Mike from Tallinn is going to take you through projects and the updates. This one I'm genuinely excited about because it answers a question we've heard from you. What happens after the deal is won? So for too long, CRMs ended and you had to switch tools right when the customer relationship was getting the most valuable. Then Jess from Lisbon will walk you through automations. If you ever felt that automations in Pipedrive were powerful, but sometimes a bit too intimidating to set up, you're going to like what Jess is showing you. After that, Hannes, also from Tallinn, will share something a lot of you have been asking for, and that's native WhatsApp integration. And why? Well, your customers are already on WhatsApp. We're bringing those conversations into Pipedrive so nothing falls through the cracks and every message stays linked to the deal that it belongs to. Similar though you expect from email integration. And finally, I'll let them tell the story, but Jennifer from Tallinn will introduce you to Nova. So Nova is the start of a bigger shift for Pipedrive, going from a system that stores your sales data to one that actively helps you sell. I won't spoil it. They'll take it from here. So some of this is generally available right now. You may already see it in projects and automations. Some of it is beta and coming soon. So the people you're about to hear from now are the ones who spend their days talking to customers, reading your feedback, obsessing over the details of what they ship. They're really good at what they do, and they're about to take you behind the curtain on each of these areas. So with that, let's get into it. And Mike, over to you.
Thank you very much, Joe. So Mike here, talking to you about all the exciting updates we've been up to with projects. As Joe introduced, it's our play for what happens after the deal so that you can continue inside Pipedrive. First of all, a little question we'll throw up on the screen here. We're curious of how you currently are managing your post-sales or delivery work. You're already doing that in Pipedrive projects? Are you maybe working around that in Pipedrive with deals? Any external programs? Just curious to hear from you where you're using that. Continuing on, so project by Pipedrive. For those of you, maybe you've seen it around a little while in Pipedrive, but it has just gotten a really, really massive refresh. So your work, of course, doesn't end when the deal is won. So now your CRM doesn't either. So we allow you to deliver on every promise, stay aligned with your team, never lose context by managing your project execution directly inside Pipedrive. You have your context in sync. We will populate your briefs from your deal history, your notes, or your files with the help of AI, and manually we're linking all of that together from the deal to the project. So you have zero context lost, something that when you use third-party tools or you go back to spreadsheets for that delivery, a lot of context is lost. This all stays inside Pipedrive and is actively used there. You will help you deliver over time. You track progress with updated and brand new Gantt timelines so you can spot risks before your clients do. And of course, scale consistently. So automatically launch proven delivery workflows with templates so every client gets the same experience. We have projects available as a user-based add-on on the Lite and Growth plans for $8 a user a month. And we have it also included in the pricing tiers for the Premium and Ultimate plans. Joe kind of touched on it already. A lot of what I'm sharing with you here is already in general availability and some still in beta. And the bigger public launch is happening in early June, but you should have access to 90% of what I'm showing you here already. Let's go over a demo of the projects area.
Hi everyone. Today, I will show you how Pipedrive is evolving from managing deals to managing the entire customer lifecycle, from closing the deal to delivering the work, and why that directly drives retention and expansion. Today in Pipedrive, when a deal is won, and in most other CRMs, they stop being useful. The real work, delivery, onboarding, execution happens outside. That fragmentation is one of the biggest churn drivers. Our strategy is simple. Unify sales and delivery into one continuous workflow, powered by AI. As soon as a deal is marked as won, we guide the sales teams into the next step, delivery. And we automatically create a project fully populated with context. AI turns the deal into an execution-ready brief, suggesting next steps, risks, and key context, and mapping it into the right fields. This removes manual handover, one of the biggest friction points between sales and delivery. Everything from the deal, your emails, files, and notes is already there. No duplication and no context loss. Now the team executes directly inside Pipedrive. We've also rebuilt tasks into a true execution system. Not just reminders, but structured delivery. Teams collaborate where the work happens, with comments, mentions, and shared context. And teams can now manage complex workflows with dependencies and a Gantt view, something previously not possible within Pipedrive. We've also removed friction at scale, with bulk actions, faster list views, and mobile support on Android with iOS coming soon. Exporting, importing is all part of the tool as well. And with our new projects reporting, managers now get visibility into execution, not just pipeline. They can track delivery speed, project health, and execution, all tied directly to revenue. But we're going a step further. With AI-powered health summaries, Pipedrive actively monitors project progress, highlights risks, and surfaces what needs attention. It doesn't just show you what's happening, it explains why and suggests actions to keep projects on track. This helps teams and managers stay ahead of issues, not just reacts to them. And this matters because customers consistently tell us execution visibility is their top need. With external sharing, you can also share the progress of your project with people who are not within Pipedrive, like other team members, managers, or stakeholders. And we're already seeing strong momentum. Usage is growing, both in numbers of companies and active users. And more importantly, meaningful usage is increasing. That combination, breadth and depth, is what drives retention. This is more than a feature set. We're turning Pipedrive into the system teams use after the deal is won, not just before. That's how we aim to reduce churn, increase stickiness, and unlock expansion. From the pipeline to the execution to the outcomes, all in one place, all in Pipedrive.
Great demo, if I say so myself, by the guy who made that. Smooth handover from deal to project, right? So delivery that starts exactly where sales left off, no context loss, no tool switching, sell it, deliver it all inside one CRM. So your deals, emails, files, and notes carry through the project automatically. We see a project in the deal pipeline, we link the deals in there from the project pipeline, and an AI-powered deal handover brief captures key details from the deal to highlight. Advanced project reporting and automation was mentioned already. Know how your delivery is performing. Stop running it automatically. You can now automate that and report on that. And powerful project planning and collaboration. One sort of source of truth for your team. The new Gantt views with dependencies and milestones in there. Project health status with an AI health assessment. Multiple assignees, task priorities, add mentions for you to collaborate with your colleagues on the task. And I saw a question come by already. Projects on mobile. Android is already live. iOS will reach us live next month. And there's a lot more. We heard your feedback. The biggest gaps from voice of customer are now solved. So we have list views with bulk editing, importing and exporting. Custom fields of everything that you're used to in the rest of Pipedrive now available for projects as well. The duration tracking of how long your project is going in different phases. Updates to our templates, which we know that over 50% of you actually use our templates to create those projects after the deal. And external sharing. Lots of exciting stuff. And really curious also here in the chat and questions to hear more questions and feedback on that. I'll pass it over to my colleague Jess right now. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much, Mike. So I'm going to introduce you to automations and talk through a couple of updates that we've been working on over the past couple of months. So if we could go to the next slide. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot I can drive this thing myself. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with automations, it's available in the growth plans and above. And the automations feature in Pipedrive helps you to eliminate manual work. So you can streamline your sales processes and help your team work more efficiently. So I have 3 updates to share with you today. Two, I think, are more relevant to customers new to automations that maybe have been thinking about exploring it but haven't yet gone there and checked it out. And one that is more relevant to existing automations users that will bring some value to your existing workflows. So let's have a look at them. First of all is around knowing what to automate. So what we heard from our customers is sometimes they know that automations is going to help their team, but maybe they don't know what is the repetitive behavior, what are those sales workflows that need to be automated. So we've seen that there are some very common, simple workflows that thousands of our customers already have automated. And what we can do is now see your patterns and behavior in Pipedrive. And if you start matching those common workflows, we'll give you a recommendation. So you can see here in the left-hand side, the image might be a bit small, but there's this recommendation that will pop up and let you know, like, hey, you've done this 15 times recently. Maybe you want to think about automating it. And then if you click on that, there'll be a very simple, easy flow for you to get that set up quickly. You don't need to go to automations. You don't need to go out of the workflow that you're in the middle of. You can set it up there and then you'll start getting value from that immediately. So this is GA at the moment, meaning is general availability. Everyone can access it, but it's just for a limited number of recommendations. So you essentially need to be doing that repetitive behavior to be able to see those recommendations. But we plan to expand these to cover more workflows. So hopefully it will benefit more of our customers as we roll those out. The second solution I wanted to share with you today is a new AI setup assistant. So this is still in its early stages. It's an alpha. And the setup assistant will help you to create automations faster using natural language by chatting with AI. I'm sure we're all familiar with this these days and have already adopted AI into a lot of our workflows. But essentially, you can just tell it what you want to automate, and then it will help you to build that automation and get it all set up, taking all of the complexity out of there so you don't need to think about it. And you can also query it and ask around the limitations of what's possible in automation. So it's really there as your helping hand, your guide to take you through. So we're really excited to bring this to customers, and I think it will really help those new to automations to get their first ones set up and start seeing the value of that in their sales workflow. So as I mentioned, this is an alpha, but if you would like to be like some of the first customers getting access to this, you can join our waitlist, and Aurelio will be sharing with you a link towards the end of this webinar where you can go on to a Google form, put in your email address, and then we'll give you access. And finally, the third one is the new automations dashboard. So again, this is general availability. So everyone with automations has access to this much requested feature, which is really helping those customers that have automations already today. So the idea of the dashboard is it gives you clearer visibility into what's happening in automations. So you can get a view of your most firing automations. You can get a view of those that are failing and have issues. So you can have that oversight and go in and quickly fix them. And alongside highlighting what's happening, we've improved the error messaging and troubleshooting, so making it easier for you to fix those automations. And we're seeing like huge satisfaction around this already, and also a reduced number of automations errors as a result. So we can see that it's really providing a lot of value to our customers already. And I'm hoping that you can check it out and get some value out of it as well. And lastly, we will have a short demo, and I'm actually just going to demo that dashboard because that's the feature that's more in GA for you all to go in and play around with today. So this demo will give you a little bit more of an intro into exactly what it does and how it works.
Managing automations used to be hard to trust. If something broke, users often didn't even know. And when they did, it took time to understand what went wrong. There was no single place to see automation health. Users had to navigate across automations and history views, which made it hard to get a clear picture and wasn't very helpful. Now, with the overview dashboard, that changes. You get a clear, system-level view of all your automations in one place. Right away, you can see which automations are failing, which ones are most active, and which ones aren't running at all. Automations with no executions help you quickly spot flows that are no longer running, so you can review and clean them up. This keeps your setup simple and relevant. You also get a clear view of automation health over time. Switch between a weekly summary and daily stats to understand when things changed. And with the execution timeline, you can instantly spot spikes and failures or changes in activity. Now let's look at debugging. From most failed automations, I can go straight into an issue. With a single click, I open a detailed view. Here, I immediately see when the issue started, how often it's happening, and the most common issue. Let's look at a few examples. In this case, the automation is failing because a pipeline stage is missing. The system shows exactly where the issue occurs, in which step, and how many times it has failed. So I can quickly understand that the target stage no longer exists and needs to be updated. In another example, the issue is a missing filter used in a condition. Here, the automation can't validate the condition because the filter was removed or is no longer accessible. This is clearly highlighted, so I know exactly what needs to be fixed. And in this case, the failure is caused by a limit being reached. Email sending is blocked due to too many requests. Instead of guessing, I can immediately see the reason and understand why executions are failing. In all of these cases, the system shows what's wrong, where it happens, and how often it occurs. So instead of searching across views, I can quickly understand the root cause and take action. What used to take multiple steps now takes one. You can spot issues early, understand them instantly, and keep your automations running smoothly.
So that's live today, and you can go and check it out in automations. And with that, I will hand over to Hannes, who is going to talk to you more about WhatsApp.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Hannes, and I'm going to talk to you about WhatsApp. So first of all, we have a question for you to kick things off. So how often do you chat with clients using messaging app? And it could be WhatsApp, it could be Messenger, Instagram, Telegram, whatever. Just let us know how much are you actually chatting with your clients so that we know what's the interest there. Okay, see there's the most voted is every day, so I think we're on a good track here. So our idea is that you could now meet with your customers within Pipedrive when they are chatting with you. And let's start with a demo.
Your customers are already on WhatsApp, and now your sales conversations can be too with the WhatsApp business integration in Pipedrive. Respond to new leads, follow up on your conversation, and use message templates when you need to re-engage a contact. Send reminders, share next steps, and stay on top of renewals or upgrades. Let's see how you can bring WhatsApp into Pipedrive. Before you connect WhatsApp, make sure that you have a Facebook account. This Facebook account connected to Facebook Business Portfolio and a WhatsApp business account connected to the Facebook Business Portfolio. Pipedrive will assist you in the setup. If you're missing any of these accounts, just follow the setup assistant. At each step, it will ask if you have the account ready, and if you don't, it will guide you right to where you can create one. Anyone can set up a WhatsApp business account and is available on the growth and above tiers plans. Now respond faster, follow up smarter, and stay on top of every deal.
Okay, so nice to see. It's still number one is every day chatting with clients, so that's nice to hear. So what are we doing right now here is that we have added a native WhatsApp business integration. Native means that it is inside Pipedrive. All the different views will be adding into everywhere so that it's always there with you when you need it. Business integration means that we are using WhatsApp Business. So we are a tech partner for Meta and Facebook to be the direct linked with them. So we don't have any third parties involved, and we can serve you directly. So you
probably know that WhatsApp is the #1 messaging platform, and the idea is to get those conversations into Pipedrive, so you can respond faster, follow up smarter, and organize yourself better. So this is a free feature from Growth and above. But for using WhatsApp templates, WhatsApp is charging for them based on the template categories, based on the country that you are in or you want to send those messages. It costs between less than a cent to 13 cents per message. But it is only needed for starting conversation. For all the conversations when you are already actively engaged the customer, that is free of charge, and you don't have to worry about that. We are in open beta, meaning that everyone can join, but you have to opt in. So you have to go and activate this feature on the beta program page. So we'll be sharing later on how to do that. But there are still 21% of you who has never chat with your customer, and 80% who rarely do that. So that's, I think, a good way to say that you should try that channel out, because chats may perform better than other channels. So you could get the faster response because people are on their devices. They can answer you easier than with email. You can be closer to customers because this conversational sales might feel more convenient and personal for them. You can sell more naturally, like it's easier to keep the conversation going. It's not something that you just send an email and then follow up days later. And you also spend less effort than doing calls. So there's customer quotes from all over the world who see the value in that, and also see that they, in their areas, a lot of sales is actually done in WhatsApp, and speed is the most important part of this channel. So how to set the theme up for success? So you can find the feature in the beta program on the website, and after activation, it is in your sales inbox. And every chat that you link to a deal or a person can also be seen in those detail views. And on the tools and apps, you can configure the integration. We have made a great efforts to make sure that you can easily connect. So please use the setup system to make sure that you have everything ready for that. And we can also say that everybody that went through that connection, 98% actually succeeded. So it isn't a problem to do that. It's just you need to be mindful of some topics there. You can create and manage message templates in Pipedrive. And the good side is also that you can continue using your WhatsApp mobile or web app in parallel. So you don't have to ditch those great apps and use Pipedrive. And for those sales reps listening in, you can now chat with full context. You don't have to switch between mobile and Pipedrive. You don't have to switch between different tabs. So you can start and continue conversation in the deal view and see all the context of the data there. You can manage the order conversation in one place. So there is a WhatsApp inbox for that. You can link those conversations to different items. As always, there are some emotions involved in chatting, so you can also react with emotions and see how people react to your messages. You can see, preview, download files. So we also support sending audio files, listening to them, seeing video, playing that back. So you can send everything what you want. And when you're using templates, it can also be pre-filled with the data from Pipedrive. So you don't have to fill in the person's name every time, but it will be pre-filled from the template itself. And of course, you can see how many unread messages you have and get notifications around it. So again, you can activate it right now, going into the company settings and beta program, and then going into sales inbox and using WhatsApp. And it's a beta, meaning that we are really, really hoping to see and hear your feedback to understand how your experience is, what's slowing you down, what's blocking you, and what benefits you actually enjoyed the most. So keen to hear what you think about this. And handing it over to Jennifer.
Great, thanks so much. So I think a common theme you're hearing from all the presenters this evening is that you spoke and we listened, and we got inspired, and we sat down and we tried to figure out basically how can we create the full experience that will give you the type of tools, the type of platform, and the type of resources to let you do what you do best, which is like connecting with your clients, your prospects, your customers. And so one big part of that picture that for a very long time was somewhat missing from Pipedrive was all of those human-to-human connections, those conversations that you were having with your clients, with your prospects, and you really wanted to like keep that as part of the overall experience within Pipedrive. We have, over the last 7 or 8 months, spoken with hundreds of customers to understand what their day-to-day looks like, understand how they are connecting. And sometimes that is, yes, with WhatsApp, sometimes it is email, sometimes it is text message, and very often it is with real conversations. And so this is the sneak peek into the newest of the new in Pipedrive, and that is Pipedrive Nova. So to give you just a very quick overview, I forgot I have a poll. I forgot how I put a poll. All right. Because we're talking about conversations, one of the things we are interested in is where are you already having those conversations? And if you are having those conversations with customers on a regular basis, what is the platform that you may be using to record, to transcribe, to give you some feedback so that you can advance that relationship and move that deal forward. So I'm super curious if you're already using some sort of a conversation intelligence tool, and I'll come back to that poll in just a little bit. But with Pipedrive Nova, we are essentially taking that 50 to 70% of the sales process and trying to bring that back natively into Pipedrive. And so we are positioning Nova as that sales meeting intelligence tool, the one that supercharges all of that great context and background and history that you have with your customers, with those organizations, with those deals, so that you and your sales teams can walk into every conversation with full context. All of the history, all of the background, all of that data packaged right up for you. So it briefs you ahead of those conversations. It captures all of the details so that you don't have to look away from your screen and write things down or worry when you're in back-to-back calls that you might have missed some critical detail. And most importantly, it keeps Pipedrive always up to date. It captures all of that important information, all of that data, and it helps you for that next conversation, that next follow-up, that next email. So let's take a look at how this magic happens.
What if every sales call started with full context? What if your team could spend every meeting completely present, while the admin handled itself? Meet Pipedrive Nova. Nova briefs your reps before the call starts, helping them stay on top of every conversation without the admin work. No more digging through old threads or deal history. With just a glance, your team is ready to roll. While they're in the moment, Nova's in the background of the call, capturing key points so they can focus on the conversation, wherever it happens. When the call ends, they'll get a full recap, auto-generated, but completely customizable. And CRM updates are ready to review. And sync. No gaps, no copy pasting. Your CRM stays accurate, so you'll always have a clear view of where your deals are headed. Pipedrive Nova. Your team sells, Nova does the rest.
All right, so let's unpack that for just a minute. Before those calls, before those meetings, Pipedrive brings all of that context to you, packages it into a super easy to digest overview of the history of that conversation, thread, that email, all of that data. It gives you those quick, really the kind of stuff you need to know when you are 30 seconds out from a call. No digging, no prep time, really just full clarity based on all of that great information that you already have in Pipedrive. And that happens before the call starts. And then while you are in that conversation, and by the way, there's two ways for Nova to join that conversation. One is that very typical bot that joins your I don't know, your Google Meet, your Zoom, your Teams meeting. But we also have a desktop app version that will just record your system audio. So there's no visible bot in the call. And whether you are having a conversation on Cloud Talk, WhatsApp web, your customer or your client's video platform, Nova can still grab that and further enrich all that information. And all of that material, all of that context is captured in real time. And then when the call is done, in minutes, your CRM is updated, right? So that call wraps up, you get a quick summary with takeaways, the most important points. It listens for all of that key critical data that might exist in Pipedrive, and it says, hey, let's update this. And with one click, that information is updated without you ever having to go back to the deal, go back to the contact, go back to the organization. So all of that data, all of that information drops into Pipedrive. It'll update those custom and default fields that you have in there, and also put a note in so that anyone else who's jumping in, maybe for instance, handing over at some point into projects or handing over to a teammate, all of that information is there, and they can take advantage of all that great background. So in a sense, what it really does is it closes that loop. You already have those emails, you already have the notes, you already have the data in there. Now it brings everything together with that conversation. And the beauty is, every single time you connect with your clients, with your prospects, Nova is getting smarter. Pipedrive is getting richer. And ultimately, you're getting a super contextual and comprehensive platform that you can use to accelerate those conversations and bring something really meaningful to your customers and your prospects. So at this very moment, Pipedrive is in a limited beta. So it is open to a fairly small number of customers. And we are aiming for general availability sometime in early summer of this year. So if you are interested in the early beta, you've heard us talk about the Pipedrive beta program a few times, but Aurelio is going to mention that as well. You also can join the beta program and you'll actually see Pipedrive Nova as one of the key platforms available in there. And of course, signal your interest by joining the waitlist. And yeah, with that, I will pass it back over to Aurelio.
All righty. Thank you so much, Jennifer, and everyone for these great presentations. I don't know about you all, but I'm very excited about these new features. I know many of you are. There's a ton of activity in the chat, so I appreciate everyone sharing your feedback and a lot of excitement about Nova as well, and some really great questions. So before we go into Q&A, you've heard a few times about our beta program, and you should have also seen a link pop up on your screen to join the waiting list for early beta in these areas that we just discussed today. So here it is again. Check out that link. And if you always want to be up to speed on everything happening in terms of beta testing and getting in early, you can check out our beta program. So what is this, right? The beta program essentially is a one opt-in offer for all beta features. So once you join, your company will be enrolled in current and upcoming beta releases. So there's no need to opt in feature by feature. So only users with access to account settings can manage the beta access for the company. So you get access automatically, and the beta features are enabled automatically as well. So we'll let you know about new releases by email or in-app messages. And some beta features may require a specific billing plan or additional setup, but you'll be prompted about that too. So you can manage the access anytime, turn individual beta features off, opt out of the beta program entirely, or rejoin at any time. So definitely check that out. All right, so let's go to Q&A. Our team has been working hard to answer as many questions as possible. Thank you all for posting these and for upvoting as well. So let's tackle some of these questions. There's a lot around WhatsApp. So great to see such reaction. Let's see here. Okay, so we will pass on a lot of the feedback here, but here is one that will get started with a lot of upvotes. It's around why Facebook and not LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'll take that. So first of all, we started with number one chat platform, and that's WhatsApp. I know that previously we have also thought about expanding to Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, but yeah, we're starting with the biggest one, and then let's see how it goes.
Great, thank you, Hannes. All right, Hannes, you might want to stay unmuted. There's a lot more here around WhatsApp. So let's go to Eno.
Yeah, so I think this is something that people have found out quite surprisingly, that WhatsApp is owned by Meta as Instagram is. So actually everything that you chat in WhatsApp is somehow connected to Meta. Meta is the parent owner of WhatsApp, and we are integrating with them, and that's why Facebook accounts are needed there. So that being like let's say the financial situation there, I think they take actually really seriously the privacy issues. Before going live, we had to show that we are actually deleting the data after trial ends, and we have also, if you want your data deleted in all the conversations deleted in Pipedrive that you had, you can just turn to support and they will make sure that happens. So that is something that we'll take very seriously.
But can I maybe add on to that? I read the question a little bit differently. I read it that maybe some people are concerned that their Pipedrive data maybe goes into, and that's not. So the only thing that goes in there is the WhatsApp chats. Nothing about your deals, nothing about anything else in Pipedrive goes in there. Just to confirm that.
Thanks, Joe. All right, let's take a Nova question for Jennifer. So after the call, would Nova suggest setting up follow-up activities?
Yeah, this isn't just a general type summary that you might see like in, I don't know, from Google Meet or Zoom. It is a sales focused summary. And so the takeaways there will include basically what are the key decisions that happened in that, that happened in that call? What are the actions that, that you have to take to move the deal forward? So right now it is a suggested activity. So it's not going to automatically execute something. At some point in time, I would love to tap into just as automations and have all of that happen automatically. But right now it is basically taking that intelligence from the call, taking what it knows about the deal and the current progress there, and suggesting some next steps.
All right. Well, another one for you.
Oh.
Does Nova work through emails too, or just as an after call tool to update client data and create briefs?
So it doesn't pull out, so it doesn't basically give you a summary of each and every email the way it would for calls and meetings. But what it does do is it basically looks at and reads all of the emails that you have linked to the deal or the contact or the organization, and it uses it for context. And so it doesn't give you those automated, sort of data updates, but it is part of the overall sort of like deal, contact, and organization context there.
And if I may add, like one of the popular things we see with our customers is if, for example, you decide to follow up on the call, like I'll send you this document around FAQs, it will actually go and create a draft mail for you based upon your call, which you could just click on and send to the customer.
I just kept myself unmuted. I saw that there was another Nova question popping up. Right now, Nova does work on your browser, so your desktop or your browser, so Chrome or whatever. So we don't have an iPhone or an Android app just yet. However, the desktop app, it will record system audio. So any VoIP type calls. I saw someone asked a question about Google Voice. If that's happening on your desktop, Nova will be able to record that. And yes, I have seen people, test it out by literally talking on speakerphone. And so I guess that's a hacky way to get Nova in there. But right now we do not have a mobile app version. But thank you for mentioning it, because we will bring that back to the team.
Yeah. Lots of Nova questions popping up. There's one around cost. Oh, language first.
So that is a good question. So right now, we are building for this first GA for English language. However, we have had plenty of people have sales calls in other languages. So we've heard, Lithuanian, I think, Estonian, as you might imagine, we're an Estonian company, Spanish, Portuguese, and Nova can basically transcribe that and give you the summary in that language. However, it won't be maybe quite as reliable as English language. But languages are on the roadmap.
Thank you. So this one is about cost and also about limitation tokens linked to the AI.
So this might actually be one that Joe wants to unmute himself.
We were just determining and doing tests on what it would cost, but we will be very, very competitive to the alternative that you're using, if you're using an alternative surface, and we will be a lot more integrated. So, but we will know very soon.
Thank you, Joe. All right, we're going to go back to Hannes for this one. So is WhatsApp's integration GDPR compliant?
Yes, everything that Pipedrive does is compliant with GDPR. So that we take that very seriously. So you don't have to worry about it.
Good question. Great answer.
You can get your data deleted if you want, and not be part of it.
All right. Back to Nova. Will Nova do summary of past deals too?
So right now, Nova is essentially triggered when you have an upcoming meeting. However, when that upcoming meeting, pops up, that summary of the deal and all of the context there, including all of the entities that might be connected to that deal, that does pull in historical data. However, it is not just give me a summary of anything in Pipedrive right now. So right now we are positioning this to close the loop with meeting and call intelligence and Pipedrive.
All right, this one might be for Joe, not Nova, but AI related. When will we have a connector for Claude?
Great question. And we are working on things like that right now. We will be sharing that, but I would love to hear from you how you would use it and what you would begin to accomplish. So we are working right now, talking to a lot of customers, understanding how are they solving problems, let's say within ChatGPT or Claude. Are they extending the CRM system? Are they using it to integrate? Are they using it to summarize? So would love to understand and get more feedback. But absolutely, this is in our roadmap. It's not something we're ready to share yet, but I would be surprised if next time we talk to you, we wouldn't have something good to share.
Maybe something to add, Joe. So we do have a test going on as well with a MCP server that we are working with. So if anyone on the call here is interested, reach out to the support team so we can get you testing those, which you can already connect to Claude as well today.
Great call out, Mike. All right, back to Hannes. Is WhatsApp integration a paid feature?
No, that is included in growth and above plan, and you don't have to pay extra for that.
Easy one. All right, let's see what else we have. All right, now automations. In automations, it would be really helpful to have conditions with multiple branches like a switch or router instead of being limited to 2 paths, true or false. Would it be possible via Pipedrive?
I love this feedback. Thank you for providing it. And it is something that we hear. So yeah, we implemented the true false branching last year, and we're monitoring feedback to see if we need to extend that, because yeah, we hear this as a need. So we'll take this back, and the more we hear the feedback, the more it becomes a priority. So yeah, appreciate that.
like we said before, we listen to all the feedback and we prioritize the things that our customers are looking for the most. So please keep giving us this feedback, and those things will go on top that is the most requested.
All right, we got a couple here tied for upvotes in terms of calls. Let's go over this one. Can Pipedrive collect recent news about prospects to use in calls or as reasons to reach out to engage prospects? I feel like this one could be for Joe or
Sure, I can. So eventually, this is absolutely, we want to support this. So as we are building, let's say for Nova, there is world knowledge and knowledge we have in the CRM. And as we build out the intelligence layer, we will be bringing in recent world knowledge. Down the road, there'll be ability to, let's say, integrate with other feeds as well. And that would be the same thing with leads. So how do we integrate with other partners, let's say, to enhance lead information or even get you new leads? So there'll be some partners that we rely on, and then there'll be some things that we will be building our own, but absolutely.
All right, the next one is somewhat related. So on random calls, how does it know which contact to associate the call? Is that a manual process or derived from the call communication?
Okay, so I'm assuming this is a Nova one. So Nova doesn't listen like randomly all the time. So it is you basically are bringing your Nova note taker with you for things that you have scheduled. So the short answer to that is that, if you have that call scheduled in Pipedrive, or it's sitting in your calendar, then Nova can see it and you can opt to have Nova record it. So when I'm seeing random, I'm thinking maybe ad hoc type things or inbound type calls. So unfortunately, like inbound calls that don't kind of exist as some sort of an activity is not going to find it automatically. However, even if you have a call that's in your calendar and you don't yet have a contact or an organization or a deal, Nova can still join it. And then after the call, you can then link that context you got from Nova to the right contact, organization, or deal.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, looks like everything else might have been answered. Let's go to the bottom here. Here's an interesting one. Can also the colleagues and the boss see the whole conversation by WhatsApp, or can I just block it for me and not colleagues? Normally it's logged in the deal. Hannes.
Yes, so we have been rather like doing the simple logic so that everybody in the company, if you have connected this conversation to a deal, everybody can see it, because we have seen that that's the most use case where everyone wants to see the context of what is going on there. We've been thinking of adding some visibility settings on top of that, but right now it's after linking to a deal, then everybody will see it. But if it's in your inbox and you don't link it to deal, then only you will see it.
Thank you, Hannes. We've got another one on WhatsApp here. Is it going to become a shared inbox for multiple users to engage with the WhatsApp requests and create rules or assignments of chats?
Yeah, we have to see how it goes. Right now, we allow multiple users to be assigned to one number. So you can share a number between the whole sales team, and everybody can pick up the conversation from the inbox. And after you have linked to a deal or a person, you can then work on that view, and you don't have to worry about that there's other conversations linked to other sales reps, other users. So that's how we have somewhat solved it, so that multiple people can work on the same number.
Thanks, Hannes. Back to Nova. Are calls one-on-one or conference type calls?
Any kind of call. So it can be a group call, it could be a one-on-one call, any type of call.
Easy peasy. All right, here's another good one on WhatsApp syncing. Will it sync with existing conversations?
Right now, not. So you start with a blank page, but we are working on it. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will also sync up with the previous conversation. The only caveat is that we can only go back to half a year. I hope that your sales process is faster than that, but yeah, just it's a limitation from WhatsApp side that only half a year of conversation history can be synced.
All right, trying to cluster these into topics. WhatsApp integration, is it only for some of the users, or does everyone have access to it?
Yeah, so you will assign numbers to users, and everyone that has a user number assigned will can send messages. For everybody else, they can see the conversation. So again, like we're doing it simple, so that everybody has visibility into those conversations, but the only ones that you assign will be able to send messages.
All right, thank you, Hannes. We're back to Nova. Got time for a couple of more. Can Nova make or prepare Pipedrive reports with a proper prompt?
So I think you're talking about probably like reports that are in our insights feature. So while Nova doesn't generate reports or reporting things, what it does do is make sure that all of the data that you have in your CRM is very up to date, which makes the building of reports or using the deals forecasting view much more accurate and reliable, because you know exactly what is that deal value, when is the expected close date, am I talking to the right person? So it provides a lot more context to make the reporting and insights and forecasting features much more accurate and usable.
Yeah, just maybe to add on that, just think of it as that Pipedrive now with Nova can listen in on every discussion you have with your customer, and you will have every word ever recorded, and you will have summarized as well. So imagine if over the months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, you have all that data. We believe that this is what's going to take us from a system of like record to a system of intelligence, system of action.
I like this to add as a side note that we do have a functionality where you can use AI to report or generate reports in Sites as well. So that's unrelated to Nova. But for anyone looking to get support setting up reports, there's a AI functionality there as well, where you can use your own kind of phrasing of what you want to see, and AI helping you then translate and set up that report for you.
All right. Thank you all so much for the amazing questions. We are coming up at time here. On the screen, you should see a feedback form link. So these 3 questions will help us plan future webinars and better understand your needs and pain points. So we would really appreciate if you take the time to fill it out. Additionally, as I mentioned, if you'd like to check out the new features, check out the links we've shared, join our beta program, and you have access to all of this earlier than anybody. All right, as I mentioned at the beginning, if we did not get to your question today, we'll be following up and posting the answer to your questions via the Pipedrive webpage. I want to take the time to thank all of our speakers today for giving us a great overview of the latest product innovation we have happening at Pipedrive. And thank you all for joining today's webinar. Take care and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.